somebody always has a story about somewhere they went wrong or something they did that taught them something, right?
That's right.
Usually when you lose money or things go sideways, there's something to learn from that.
Always be open to learn and strive to be better, just to be a better person. I don't know, I guess I was always told never be the smartest person in the room. Take the risk. I'm a big firm believer in once you get comfortable in life, you don't do as well. You always got to keep that process going to take the risk, do something challenging, keep going, right?
Welcome to the show, everyone. Today, I would like to introduce you to 5-Star Plumbing and Heating and Air Conditioning. 5-Star has been serving Saskatoon and surrounding area for over 20 years, providing local job opportunities for over 30 employees and growing really rapidly. We have Mike, Riley, and TJ, and the team strive to provide exceptional service in both the residential and commercial markets. Service, retrofits, new construction, and renos, you name it. 5-Star can do it. Fully licensed, bonded, and core certified for all your commercial project needs. Wow. So today, I want to actually get started here because, Riley, we've known each other for the past few years. Obviously, we were introduced to your business through the website and so forth. We'd love to know a little bit more about your background and how you ended up over here.
So I guess originally I grew up around Landis, Saskatchewan, went to school there, got the opportunity to do like a pre-employment or just like in-school program that allowed me to like go and do like 1 day a month at a plumbing and heating company. So I ended up at River City Plumbing and Heating in North Battleford due to the fact that my parents were getting a reno done in our house. And I was just interested because they were there and I thought it might be cool. So went and started doing work with them. Was there for about 3 years or 2.5 years and just going to school in the city. Few of the buddies in school were just like, hey, like come to Saskatoon. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll move out of Battleford and move to the city, and ended up at Pro Western Mechanical for give or take 3 years. Got the opportunity to meet TJ. We worked on the road for quite a while, which was good, and moved on from there to Sewer and Pole Mechanical, working at the Children's Hospital for about a year. Work was looking to dry up. The job was just about finished. So guy I was working with, Colin Poncelet, was interested in possibly starting our own thing, and started REC in 2018, and then ended up doing this with these guys. So
that's awesome. So Mike, obviously you've been in the industry for a while as well. And can you tell us a little bit more about your background, how you ended up with 5-Star?
Yeah, so I've been in the industry since 2012. Born and raised in Saskatoon. Kind of bounced around. I'm a refrigeration mechanic by trade, so did more service work, more of the HVAC side. Worked for 6-7 years and ended up actually getting out of the trade for a couple of years and going to work for a friend of mine at Keys Welding, doing project managing and kind of running the service side there. He ended up selling the company, and when the sale went through, I decided to start my own thing as well. So I started Wheeler Mechanical. Did that for a couple of years and kind of got the hang of trying to do business and whatnot, and met Riley. We actually ended up, I knew Colin Poncelet as well, but Riley and myself, we ended up actually only living 2 blocks from each other out in Martinsville. So, met Riley, and the opportunity came to purchase 5-Star. So that was about 3 years ago now, and that's how we met.
That's great, and the rest is history. So TJ, you had a chance to meet with Riley back when you were in school, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we actually worked together in Calgary there. I did my full apprenticeship with one company, and yeah, we were working together, and like he said, he went his own way, and I kept working out of town and did that. And a few years later, he calls me and says, hey, you want to, go into business together? And met Mike, and I mean, these 2 guys are great to do business with, and I wouldn't have it any other way right now.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So where's 5-Star today? I mean, obviously you have multiple companies that were kind of merged together in a way to build this business. And obviously you had this opportunity to work with taking over ownership of 5-Star. But if I were to ask you, like, what drove that decision? Because obviously it was a big decision, right? I mean, being an entrepreneur is very different from working in trades directly. So what led you to that decision?
When the opportunity came, honestly, at first I was like, do I really need to do this? Do I need to, take on the debt when I already had my own company operating. And to be completely honest, it was more Mike that sold me on the idea that this was something that's something bigger than what we had, right? Just due to the fact that it was, had been around for so long. What we had created in our $200,000 to $300,000 or $400,000 to $500,000 businesses over the course of 2 or 3 years was really nothing in comparison to the brand that Five Star had built due to their reputation as being a well-respected company in the city. So many companies can get tainted in Saskatoon so quickly, and I honestly haven't heard anything negative about Five Star through working in the city for as long as I have. So that part alone was fairly powerful for sure.
That's really interesting because it's hard to build a strong reputation over the years, right? And you have a company like Five Star that has been around since almost 20 years now, over
2023, I believe, is when they started.
2003 was the year that they got
2003.
incorporated.
Wow. So, Mike, what drove you to the idea to reach out to Riley and get this deal in place?
Again, like the opportunity came up, and just through conversation, it was just a way to grow faster. You have a company that at that time had been around for 19 years or 18 years when we purchased them. And for a new business owner, I was in business for 2 years at the time on my own, and again, learning try to be a entrepreneur and all that side of it. And the fast track your growth by purchasing a company and going from a 2-man operation to a 7-man operation with other guys that have also business coming in and constant work, and having the 3 names all together, it just made sense. It was just, we could have organically grew over 10 years to be there, or you just make that leap and do it all at once. The Five Star name, again, like Riley said, and I've never heard anything bad about it. And any business that makes it past that 3 to 5 years and able to sustain that name and that work is something that's worth money and worth buying. So, yeah.
Nice. So you were obviously a specialist in your own areas, but by coming together, we always say like together is better, right? I mean, if you're able to join your skill set and also be able to invest in a business, which is a big decision, right? And work on leveraging the reputation that an older company has to propel, your growth and to, grow really faster. I think that, it certainly helps to bring those ideas together. And, but I would imagine that not everything goes through very smoothly. I mean, we have so many changes that are happening, right? And especially this is during the period of COVID, is it, that you were kind of going through this?
Yeah, we officially bought Five Star in April of 2022.
Got it.
So kind of on the end of COVID, we both ran our own businesses right through COVID, which was a challenge itself. And coming into that tail end, COVID was still around. It was still present when we took over.
That's right.
There's always challenges. It's just how you deal with them, I guess. Like the growth has been good, and the challenges seem to work themselves out.
Makes sense. So when you invested in the business, obviously you've grown quite a bit in the past couple of years. Let's talk a little bit about that growth and what really was the reasoning behind that growth. Was it just because all of you had this expertise to bring together a nice group of people to work together, or was it just the nature of the businesses where you had a lot of contacts because you had your own businesses and you were able to bring those clients together and work from there? How did that growth happen?
I feel it's a combination of everything. Having, again, 3 companies rolling into one, you're able to bring 3 different contact lists all together.
Yeah.
Five Star, with 20 years of having customers and residential customers and new home construction, that brought a lot of extra service work and repeat business. People use them and move to a different house, and now they need another new furnace. It just kind of snowballed there, and then also just the people that the 3 of us know,
Right.
to be able to bring those client lists. We all come from commercial backgrounds. Five Star was originally just strictly residential. They did a little bit of commercial, but it's just pretty much residential from what we know of it. And we kind of pushed that commercial base. So now we're probably about 50-50 or it's right around there. So doing both, wide scope of work. And again, we took a lot of the money and put it back in the company to keep growing it. And yeah, it's just.
And we're yes people.
Nice.
We like to take on new challenges. Sometimes it might be a little bit out of our scope, but at the same time, it's like we know what we're capable of, and we're willing to take a little bit of risk to make sure we can, or take on new challenges and stuff. So
That's great. Let's talk about some of those challenges. I mean, what are some of those challenges? Maybe the top challenges that you think really paid off well. I mean, what would those be?
I mean, our willingness to take risks and to push the company forward, right? Like we always see that that it can be hard to take those risks, and we're always putting money back into the business and trying to grow it and trying to stabilize it so that with the growth we're still in a position where we can make ends meet, get our bills paid, all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. One of the key things in making a company successful is to find the right people. And obviously, all of you being in the industry before, you had connections, but it's still tough to find the right people to grow a team in a business, right? How have you overcome this challenge?
Well, I think putting the right people in place. I mean, we've definitely taken our time in hiring the people that we need to trust to do that, because we're not on the tools and it's not our hands, completing the work anymore. But I feel like we have a great, management level below us that can lead the guys in the right direction and make sure the job gets done right and, to our standard that we like to achieve it at, right?
Makes sense.
and just kind of who we knew, right? Like a lot of the people that are with us now are people that we had the opportunity to work with in the past, and just that little bit of the trust and being able to put those people in positions where they're getting stuff done and they take responsibility for what they're doing every day. So
Right. I had the opportunity to call you a few times to work at my place, and what I've noticed is the difference in terms of the responsiveness, right? To the customer, it's very important that their needs are addressed as quickly as possible. And I remember, at one point, it was the weekend, you don't have anyone available, and TJ, you showed up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at my place, because we actually had a pipe blown in our backyard. And that was something that, I really, it's very rare that after that experience, I'm going to go call a different company, right? Because I've had such a wonderful experience working with you. So that experience is really important when you're dealing with customers, right? But it's tough to scale that, right? It's, as you get more and more customers, especially residential customers, it's challenging to scale that great experience over time. Have you come across any challenges like that, or what do you do to help improve the customer experience at an ongoing basis?
I think a big part of it is, like Riley said, we're yes people. If someone needs something done, we're going, right?
Right.
So, trying to prioritize what needs to be done. So not it's a pipe rolling, we got to get there.
That's right.
Looking at a furnace, doing a service, that can maybe wait a week, right? So trying to prioritize the major calls and try to schedule. Scheduling has a big thing to do with it.
and the management level too that we've recently, or more recently, like even in the last 6 months to a year, have like really worked on incorporating, because like having those the different subsections where we have somebody that's dedicated to making sure that those people are properly dealt with, because our time we get pulled in so many different directions, right? And actually being able to create that position so that is that person's sole responsibility is to make sure that the service is micromanaged in such a way that the people get dealt with and they get their questions answered and they get the problem solved as fast as possible.
That's right. So is the direction here more commercial projects now, since you've now invested in 5-star, or is it still kind of focusing on residential as well?
It's still 50-50, I feel. We do new residential builds. We have 4 or 5 builders that we're doing new homes with. Again, all the repeat customers, all the years of customers and growth that need service calls, need new furnaces, need ACs. summer and fall services. Yeah, it's still residential based, but we are quoting jobs and doing more and more bigger projects.
And constantly working on trying to take on new commercial contracts to like manage, different restaurants or, dealerships or commercial towers for residential space. Like it really doesn't matter. Honestly, we're pretty open to taking on anything we can in that sector. So
Makes sense. So with regards to like developing a strong team culture, because obviously you got to hire the right people, you got to keep them, on your team as well. It's always challenging too. How do you? What steps are you taking to actually help establish a healthy, culture in the workplace and be able to, expand your team?
I think just again we're putting the right people in the right spots.
Right.
Good managers paying people what they deserve, keeping wages up, trying to do the extra events. We did golf tournaments,
Nice.
some bonding,
Team bonding.
just had a really fun Christmas party last weekend.
Oh, nice.
So I think that was really good. Bunch of new people, bunch of old people getting to, finally meet in a setting that allows them to communicate well and create that stronger culture, right? So
That's great.
Yeah, giving back to the employees again, right? Like having the right equipment, having the right tools, trying to just go that extra mile just to keep growing, right? We'd be nothing without the guys. Like with the amount of work we have, we can't do it ourselves and manage a business. So the people are the kind of the number one thing with the company, right? So your employees and your customers. Sometimes it's also the hardest part is the people and finding them and making sure everyone's going the right direction. But people are really the number one. So
Makes sense, yeah. So the thing is that, often when there's potentially new customers that don't know much about your brand yet, right? I mean, they're trying to find a service, let's say a plumber or HVAC or something along those lines that, they have a need for. They're picking up the phone, they're calling up a few places, they're visiting your website, they're trying to make a decision on who to do business with, right? What is it that gives you that competitive edge or that unique value proposition to help you get the right customer?
Well, I think we got a full service side. Dustin, our service manager, I think he's a very personable guy, and he's set up a good crew of guys that are confident in what they do, and I think that's what a customer wants to see is a confident person come into their house and get it done efficiently, right? And I think we've hired the right people in place to do that, and give the client a good 5-star service that makes them want to call us again and be a lifelong client of us.
That's great, yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the fundamental recipes of growing any business, right? You got to have the right people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tough to find the right people, I can tell you. I mean, I've tried, in my company, to hire people and so forth, and also I've known businesses in many different sectors. This is one of the fundamental challenges that every growing business has.
it's not just find randomness, right? It has to be, and like you said, we have an amazing core group, but how many more, crucial pieces have to be added to make this a reality and actually impress the customers and not just be getting the work done, right? Because we don't want to steer away from what we are as a business and what we are as a company that really wants to do good work and have return business. And if we get too carried away too fast, that can fade, and we don't want that as far as I'm concerned. So,
And I mean, it's a very important decision. I think that's very important to have that clarity. I mean, what does that roadmap look like, for the next few years and next 10 years and so forth? So obviously, it's been a great decision merging together and then growing 5-star, and it's actually rapidly growing right now. What are some of the biggest opportunities that you see in the near future here?
I feel like, things have changed a lot just due to the fact that we've been able to land a few fairly large contracts that we're able to get signed off on that, changes our ability to, it allows us to increase our line of credit, makes us a little more, flexible in having to, have money coming in so aggressively, which was, has been a continuously, major issue with just making sure that we're bringing in what's going out all the time, right? So that's been a huge thing. And then our buying power also has changed a bit because people want us to do business with them because we're, buying a lot more than we've ever bought before, right? So it's definitely helped a lot.
Nice. So what do the next 10 years look like, in your opinion?
We didn't know what the next 6 months looks like, let alone 10 years.
Yeah, when we originally bought 5-star, like we've doubled it twice since then. So
Yeah.
the 5x the size of their company, but doubled their revenue and then double our revenue again, and it's looking like next year is going to be another double. So where's the future? I don't know. Like we were kind of talking earlier about trying to figure out where our cap level is and where we can be to be sustainable and continue to give a good product. Right? We don't want to. I don't know. I don't think we want to be a 500-person company, but are we going to be 50? Probably. As in the next 10 years, I think the next little bit's just trying to figure out where our comfort zone is, and
Right.
I don't feel our province in Saskatchewan slowing down anytime soon.
Yes.
Things are busy.
Well, like Mike was saying there, we don't want to steer away from, giving a good product, right? But also having the right people in place, right? If we can find the right people, who knows, right? But-
Anything's possible, because if you just said we were going to be this many people a year and a half ago, we would have said, how are we going to manage that? And now we've, created the processes and put the procedures in place to actually be able to manage that. And we feel like we're in a good spot where it's not out of control. It's in our control. But what's another 20 people look like, right? Who else has to be put in those positions to manage that many people, right? So,
Yeah, for about every 7, you probably have to add 1 supervisor or 1 manager. So the more and more you grow, you either have to hire those key people or you have to promote those people from below. But when you promote, for example, a journeyman plumber up to being a manager or a supervisor, you also have to fill his role, right? So there's always those challenges, but
Yeah, I mean, it's a balancing act, right? I mean, you have to make sure that you are balancing those ups and downs as you're growing the company. And I think you hit the nail on the head there, because one of the things that a lot of companies struggle with when they're tackling growth is that they don't have the right processes in place for their team to follow, as they're growing, right? So that's usually a big challenge. But I mean, how have you tackled that challenge?
to be honest, I would say a lot of it has to do with the fact that we, took the step and put the money back into ourselves by hiring a business consultant. And it kind of changed our perspective on how we see in our business. And at that time and at that size, things were a little bit more, us being in it and off of it. But now that we put, a year and a half into the processes, we look at our business completely different, right? Because we're looking at it as people who know how to run a business, not solely somebody who knows how to run our business, but somebody who could run a different business. Just because of the processes that we know how to put in place now and the way that we look at the numbers and are actually able to see the analytics moving forward and look backwards and see, okay, where did we go wrong? What do we need to change? Right? If you're not looking at these things, they go astray super quickly and you just move on to the next month and the next month and the next month. And you can't tell anyone where you're going to be or where you're going or what the play is, right? And just that, strength that we've been able to build with working with Roger has made it so we can say this is what 5-star is, this is where we're going, and this is what we want to do, right? So
I mean, a process allows you to be very proactive in how you want to go and what direction you want to be heading in. Otherwise, you're always in that reactive state, right? I mean, where things are kind of falling apart and you're trying to pick this and juggling different things. And it's always a challenge, right? But with any growing business, there's also many different moving parts as well, right? I mean, you have to kind of hire the right people and have the right management, have the right supervisor for a certain amount of work and so forth, and target the right kind of clients as well. Because, often customers who we're dealing with is also very important. Who are we actually serving? Identifying who that ideal customer profile is also very, very important. And then kind of separate yourself between commercial and residential and try to scale those two different directions as well. So lots of different areas to balance, right? And earlier we were having this discussion about, what does that path, that roadmap look like? So what is that big vision, for, again, I'm going to go back, like the next 10 years, what is that big vision? Is there a vision that you have that you are looking to achieve, or what is the plan?
Really, I've never thought that far ahead. Again, it's the last 3 years have been such a roller coaster, and the growth has been a straight up shot. But yeah,
Well, let me ask you this. In the last 3 years, did you expect this kind of growth in the last 3 years when you merged and when you became partners?
No. Yeah, when we started, we were 7 people, and we sat down and we wrote on a piece of paper, okay, this kind of, we can manage this, we can manage that, and okay, yeah, we could probably be 15, 18 guys, and
seemed like such a huge deal at the time. It was just like, wow, could we even imagine being that big, right? But I mean, every risk and every step that we take moving forward, and every new purchase of a vehicle, a new add of an employee, there's risk involved. It doesn't just happen, right? And it's crazy that we've gotten to a point now where it's not the fear of hiring the employee. It's we need the guy, we need him here now, right? So it's kind of changed how we look at hiring, because it's not like, oh, is he gonna, are we gonna have the work for him? We're not really worried about that. We're more worried about making sure the customers are gonna actually get what they're looking for in the time they're looking for it, right? So. And on top of that, we've got all of our guys that are doing new construction and whatnot are working 10-hour days right now because we've got that much work to do. So,
yeah, when Riley talks about us being like 15, 18 guys, seeming like it was going to be a huge company, and now we're double that, and
Kind of look back to that and just laugh.
yeah, and we're just like I said, like in the next 6 months, I can see us being around 50 guys. Coming into the busy summer season and just continuing the jobs we have.
We can see that trajectory and see that work coming up, right? So we don't have to be as reactive and just hire people, right? We got that process in where we can know that's coming up. It's like, okay, we should be hiring a couple more guys now, and and then we can find that right guy that fits the mold, and be able to do the quality that we expect and want to see, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, for a 10-year outlook, though, I don't really know. I can see a 1-year outlook, and I can tell you where we're going to be 12 months from now. But it's
the amount of growth that's happened in even the last 6 months kind of changes your opinion on what it could be.
Right.
Right? Like we've seen the numbers for the last 2 years, and obviously we're always working on efficiencies and trying to figure out where we could be as a business based on the revenues that we're doing, and we're starting to see that there might be more than what we ever kind of dreamed we could do. And with the year that we've kind of, projected, or that we have drawn up, there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of, obviously a lot of risk. A lot of things could go wrong, but we're drawing it up the right way to make sure that, we know where we want to be and where we're trying to be. And then we can, looking forward, seeing the workload for the next month, do we need to add that guy? Do we not need to? We can kind of, we're not always, like you say, as reactive. It's a lot more proactive, just because we can see the numbers, right?
Well, I mean, you've already surpassed the numbers and the goals that you had, right, when you came together, and I think by quite a bit, right?
I would say, yeah.
And it's been a great decision, a great healthy decision, because sometimes partnerships don't go all that well. I mean, it's a challenge, right? I mean, to find the right partner, to find the right key person that you can rely on, that shares the same common goal, that shares the same vision, right, that you have as a company. And it can either make or break the company, and it looks like it's actually working really well for you. So that's wonderful to hear. With regards to what I've experienced myself is that, we often underestimate what we can achieve over a long-term goal, right? I mean, as far as what we can achieve in the 5 years, 10 years, we don't know what we can achieve, but we often underestimate that. Just like how you were going through that experience, okay, we would be fine with a certain number of people, but now you've actually surpassed that. Now what's the next big thing, right? So I think as entrepreneurs, keeping an open mind for growth is really key, because you don't know what the possibilities are. I mean, Saskatoon is growing, Saskatchewan is growing, and they're expected to have more people coming to Saskatoon as well, with the way the city is. It's one of the fastest growing cities in Canada here. So it's a good place to be.
Yeah, I feel that people are coming from the east and west and can't afford to live in Vancouver, Toronto
right.
area, and we have the natural resources here,
There's-
potash, oil, everything, and people are starting to move this way, and businesses that can work out of offices and work out of towers downtown and stuff. The rent a place in Vancouver is just X amount more dollars, right? When you can provide the same service from an office, right? If you're working online, that type of thing. But yeah, I don't see Saskatoon or Saskatchewan on the whole slowing down for quite some time.
Yeah, I mean, if you can handle the cold weather, it's a good place to be, right? Just the potential for growth. I think a lot of other cities have hit it off a lot more than we've had the opportunity to. And I mean, you look around, there's tons of land, so it's just a matter of who's going to put the money into it, right?
That's right.
So,
Yeah. No, there's definitely lots of opportunity. I think the key question is, can they handle the weather, right? I mean, that's the big question, right?
As we just got 12 inches of snow in
Yeah.
3 days.
It's good for business, though.
doesn't hurt.
Yeah, she was a busy weekend of snow clearing to get ready for Monday again.
Excellent. Well, I mean, this has been great. I mean, in terms of as individuals, right? And I want everyone, if you're responsible here, like if you were to go back, 10 years, TJ, in your life, right? I mean, what advice would you give to your younger self?
It's tough to answer. I mean, I guess always be open to learn and strive to be better, just to be a better person. I don't know. I guess I was always told never be the smartest person in the room. Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, other than that, I don't know. I guess every day though you're learning, right? Like even you go back, when we first started, right? I didn't know anything about owning a business, right? And every day you're learning, right? You make mistakes and you learn from it and you grow, and just don't make the same mistake twice.
Always be learning.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. And Mike, yourself, if you were to go back 10 years to your younger self, what advice would you give to yourself?
Take the risk.
Yeah.
I'm a big firm believer in, and once you get comfortable in life, you don't do as well. You always got to keep that process going, to take the risk, do something challenging, keep going, right? So that, if you look 10 years ago, or about 10 years ago, I was just comfortable. I was in the trade, just kind of doing my own thing, and
Right.
and then got out of being comfortable and just take the risk and try different things.
Yeah, I think, everyone has this threshold, right? I mean, when you reach that threshold and you have, that level of comfort that you actually, you don't see the opportunity, or, well, you may see the opportunity, but you're not driven as much as you were before, right? But when the situation is desperate, and when you definitely need to, proceed and progress forward, that's when you are able to innovate and bring in new ideas and grow as an individual. So I think, I agree, definitely. I think never get comfortable.
Yeah, don't get comfortable.
For sure. Mike, what would be your advice to your younger self?
I guess willingness to be malleable again, like willingness to learn from people that have done it before, right? Like listen to people. Don't always think that you know what you're talking about with limited experience. Somebody always has a story about somewhere they went wrong or something they did that taught them something, right?
That's right.
Usually when you lose money or things go sideways, there's something to learn from that, right? So I mean, constantly just rolling with the punches and being willing to push yourself further is really what I would say would be most valuable.
Yeah, I mean, learning from your failures, your mistakes. I mean, if you don't learn from them, you're going to repeat them, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what many companies, and unfortunately, have this cycle of doing the same mistakes again and again. Mm-hmm. So they tend to plateau at a certain stage, and they don't grow from there, right? So no, that's wonderful. Thank you so much again for taking the time today to come and share your thoughts. Final question. I mean, if people were to learn more about 5-Star and learn more about your business, where would they go to find you?
I guess we got our website you could go to, 5starheating.ca, or call our office at 306-934-7002. And if you have any questions, there'll be one of us there that'll be able to help you out.
That's awesome. We'll definitely include a link to the website as well as your contact information in the podcast. Again, thank you so much for taking the time today. It's been a pleasure chatting with you all and learning more about your business.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening to Sask Entrepreneurs. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a spark of inspiration. To catch more stories and lessons learned from Saskatchewan's business leaders, visit SaskEntrepreneurs.com. Until next time, keep building, keep growing, and keep Saskatchewan strong. Ciao.